With the huge success of Marvel Studios after the Avengers becoming the biggest superhero film of all time when it originally released, Sony and Fox quickly realized, yeah, maybe turning down that Kevin Feige guy was probably a mistake. But hey, we can make our own shared universes. The Amazing Spider-Man and an attempt at a shared Fox universe was born, and they both died, one faster than the other. I mean, it doesn't really take much to see that after the huge success of the original Avengers film, pretty much every single studio that had any property that they could mash up, they were trying. Universal started the Dark Universe 2 separate times, Sony started the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and then failed at it, while also starting the 21 Jump Street / Men in Black universe, which got as far as a script. The studio that found the most success was Warner Brothers, but there was another contender. There was Fox. They owned the Fantastic Four, they owned Daredevil, and they owned the X-Men. So they were gonna mash them up and make their own Marvel Studios style giant Marvel crossover. So recently, Paul Greengrass sat down and talked a little bit about it, and essentially he revealed that he was going to direct X-Men vs. Fantastic Four, and that was the movie that was in the works. He says that Fox did talk to him about it, and he doesn't necessarily say that he was attached, but this was something that he was going to do, but ultimately everything ended up falling apart because, well, the purchase started to go through. And there was also a terrible Fantastic Four and XMen Apocalypse. Now, this film would have been something interesting because this was the last attempt that they tried to get a shared universe film off the ground, because it was only about 2 years before this attempt that they were trying to do that giant style Civil War film of their own that would have seen all these characters. And at the time, they were still legally part owners of Daredevil, so they wanted that character to appear in there as well. And that film was, of course, in development as a sort of 70s, 80s throwback. So my assumption is that this would have been at some point something that involved possibly less Daredevil, because at that point he was already being developed for Netflix. Hence why it was X-Men vs. Fantastic Four and not some sort of bigger universe film where they had more characters, because, well, it reverted back to Disney Marvel. Now, this film also would have been in development right alongside Fantastic Four, I believe 2015. So it kind of tells you that this was their last attempt really at that, let's do this. And we know that once Fantastic Four came out, that year as a whole ended up being pretty terrible for Fox, and then the following year, that this is where they desperately decided, yeah, we need to sell, so everything was scrapped. So ultimately, it's one of those things where there's probably a script out there, there's probably some ideas out there, and there's probably some evolution of the various, I guess, attempts that they tried to get this project off the ground from early 2010 to 2016-ish, but nothing materialized, and that's probably for the best.